And welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about MMORPGs and why I think it's not getting any better and why I think the recent releases have been dog shit. And yeah, I'll go over a few examples and name comparisons to those. Basically just comparing new MMOs to old ones and telling you what I think. Me myself, I'm 21, so I'm not that old. Usually people that play these games, when I meet them, they're like 26 to 38 or 40, so it's quite an old player base, an old community, but I think there's lots of reasons for that. Basically, the new MMOs, biggest point, okay? Biggest point. I'll just go right into it. I'm not gonna make a big thing and talk about random shit before. The biggest point why I think MMOs are just getting worse and worse and worse is that they add too many systems whenever the game gets released, and the way they explain those systems is just the worst way possible. Talking about Throne and Liberty, for example, whenever the game got released 1 or 2 months back, I don't fully remember the exact date. Like, you start playing the game, everything is chill, the story was garbage, dog shit, trash. I don't think anyone disagrees, but you don't have to pay attention to the story in an MMO, I guess, even though there's lots of MMOs with great stories. Anyways, you start grinding, you level up, you get your abilities, everything is fine. You reach max level quite quickly, 1 week, if you play quite a bit. 1 week is like nothing, and at that point you're just like, cool, okay, and what now? And I think that's the worst part of MMOs currently. There's so much random shit, okay? You get to max level, you see all of these like notifications, this guy got this epic loot, this guy got that, this guy got... And you're like, okay, but how? The game doesn't explain it to you, you have to figure it out yourself, okay? You look at the dungeons, you see, okay, there's some loot there. That's not all of it. You keep exploring, you try different things out, you see, okay, I can get loot there. And you slowly figure a thing or two out, like dungeons or world bosses, like something simple like that, and it gets to the point where you have to figure out how to enchant those weapons and that gear, how to get the best out of it, because whenever you go into PvP or difficult content, let's say, it's more important to have good gear. And when I compare that to other games, okay, that already, I haven't even talked about the auction house system, which in of itself is very confusing in Throne and Liberty, for example, or all of these different things. If you update this, then you can get that, and then you can get that after that to get that, or just several other mechanics I'll mention in a bit, which are dog shit. I compare that to classic WoW, which I've recently been playing, or like hardcore. Anyways. Even Final Fantasy 14, or other old MMOs, basically. You level up, you slowly get new skills, and it all makes sense. You get your first few skills, okay? Leveling process is very slow. Story is very slow build up, which I like a lot for MMOs, because it gives you time to get into the world slowly, get used to it, right? Like Throne and Liberty or like any other Korean MMO, you spawn into a war zone. Explosions everywhere, you're like, what the fuck's happening? It doesn't give you time to like chill out and relax and just get into it. Like in WoW, I created an undead character. You spawn in this graveyard, everyone is low level around you, you just get these quests like go kill spiders or fucking, I don't know, dogs, or there's some people who invaded our graveyard, like stop them, get the skull, put it in the grave, and relax, and just explore your base map first, go to this, go to that, simple things. And to go to the next city, we have a letter, go bring it to the next city, talk to them, and then it continues. Next city, okay, bigger enemies, warrior humans, they're gonna kill you, okay. Stuff like that. It's like slow build up, you're getting used to it. Okay, I hate humans as in undead, we hate this race, we hate these people. It gives you the role play aspect. And even if we ignore the story completely, okay, you get every few levels a new skill, a new passive, something like that. Very slow leveling, so it's not like, okay, one right now, 10 minutes later, 2 new spells, 20 minutes later, 3 new, 1 hour later, 5 new spells. Wait, no, we can change them, like in Throne of Liberty. Your fireball becomes a triple fireball with like this passive ability that makes them do this and that, and then there's like this dodge mechanic and that. Like, relax, man. It's supposed, well, for me, okay, this is all subjective. This whole video is subjective, okay? If you've watched to this point, everything I'm saying is just my opinion. You can enjoy the game if it's fast or whatever. I just think it's worse, and it shows. Have to get a chance to slowly get used to things. That's just what I think. With all of these examples. Now let's get into into another point. For example, Final Fantasy XIV. The way you get introduced to dungeons is like the best, I think. You do the story, you hit a certain point of the story where you can do dungeons with people. I don't like the single player dungeons where you can just you get NPCs and then do it with them. I hate that. But then you do that, it's connected to the story. Well, it makes sense if you play the story. And that's done. You continue, next story part. I think Final Fantasy XIV does it the best. Every dungeon makes sense. You remember the dungeons more because like it's connected to a specific spot in the map. And that's also one way of slow progression. So many dungeons, you do them all one by one at their appropriate times. In Throne of Liberty, for example, again, I'm comparing it to that because it's the most recent one. I think most people who currently play MMOs have tried Throne of Liberty. That's why I'm comparing it to that. Once you level 30, unlock like 1 dungeon, 40 1 dungeon, and 55 or 10 dungeons. Final Fantasy, it's similar. When you hit 50, for example, you unlock a few dungeons, but they're not important, and you don't even use them that much. They're basically useless dungeons. They're just there to, you know, just spend time for doing nothing. But there's like enough dungeons which have a meaning and which you slowly get into. Maybe, I mean, Throne of Liberty is similar. 20 gives you 1, 30 gives you 1, 40 gives you 1. But the thing is, you can get to these dungeons so quickly that it doesn't feel like it's special to get to a dungeon. Maybe it's that. Maybe I just hated leveling in Final Fantasy, got to a dungeon, it meant a lot. So the biggest point, basically, this video is already long, it's 8 minutes. I don't want to drag it for too long. I think the most important thing for every aspect of an MMO is simply that it's been going way too fast. People want endgame, people want hardcore dungeons, raids to prove them. Bro, prove yourself in a different game. Play an MMO to relax with your friends or randoms. If you want to make it challenging, they should add just like a hardcore mode, like in WoW. If you die, you die. Everything, it's over. That should be a challenging part. It shouldn't be like everything before max level is like you have to do that to get to the fun part. That's every MMO in the last decades. Every MMO. You ask someone, is this MMO good? Oh yeah, it's alright. What about endgame? Yeah, there's a few good raids. I like this MMO because of this raid, because of this fight. Nobody talks about leveling anymore. Nobody talks about the zones. I hate it. I don't know. I hate it. Even shit MMOs like DC Universe Online. It's trash, okay? But like Metin 2. You level so slowly, it gives you enough time to explore and feel every single map that you're in, and it makes sense to be there. You enjoy it way more. You feel way more connected to every... Whenever I play Final Fantasy XIV, I go to this desert map, this place has a certain memory attached to it because of the leveling process. This other snowy map has another memory attached to it. This Asian map has another memory attached to it. Even dungeons, like all of these things, I feel like MMOs, since they're so long, It's supposed to be a game that you can play in the background whenever you want. Just whenever. And you see people who do the same. That you can say you can play any of these games like that, but you don't see many people who do it like that. So it feels lonely, stale, and you feel like you've been left behind whenever you play these games, because you see all of these max level people running around. When I play WoW Classic and I see some max level guy running around, it means something. Final Fantasy not that much, because they've changed a little bit more, and the game is just old as fuck. I feel like if they released Final Fantasy, even then it's not the same, because the leveling process in Final Fantasy is way more solo. I prefer it in WoW Classic. It's more like multiplayer-ish, less cutscene, basically no cutscenes. You run around, people give you buffs, you give them buffs. You see a random guy nearly dying, you give him a heal. He gives you something in return. It's way more like, it feels like a different world that you partake in. So if you want the purest form of an MMORPG experience, I'd always recommend WoW Classic or Classic Hardcore. And then the best thing you can do is play it whenever they release WoW Classic, or WoW Classic, Classic, because they'll do that 100%. I hope they do it like once every 1 year or like once every 2 years, just like one fresh reset. That would be sick. That would be actually very nice. It would always be fun to experience that. Anyways, I'm just yapping, okay? I'm just talking. It's late night. I just finished work. I thought about this topic a lot. And yeah, even I've been playing Skyrim. It feels more like an MMO than most MMOs nowadays, even though it doesn't have a multiplayer aspect to it. Does that make sense? Think about it. Maybe it does. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like or dislike and subscribe. I'm getting very close to bigger numbers, so we'll take that. Either way, I'll see you on stream on another video. I'm making these very rarely, but whenever a topic hits my head and it doesn't stop, whenever I'm working and it just annoys me, I'll make a video about it and talk about it. Music in the background as well. Elwyn Forest. If you want to listen to it, that's it. Bye.